Check out this bike. This bike is very rare. This is a 1972 Yamaha DT360. So 360cc. So these typically, in my area, sell for around $4,000 in good condition because it's so rare. And these bikes were not imported to the UK, so the UK market for these is crazy. But I got this thing for $400. The seller said this thing's been sitting outside under a tarp for over 25 years. And you can see it's pretty rusty. But it is complete. It looks to be 100% complete, which is pretty much the whole reason I bought it. The seat's not ripped though, that's pretty nice. But you can see the bars are all rusty. I mean, the whole frame is rusty. We gotta check out the toolkit in here, see if there's one in there. But really, really cool find. You've got the wooden license plate holder on there. And this bike is street legal with a title. You don't find these very often, especially for $400. Headlights on there, even the mirrors on there. About the mileage, only 5,037 miles. Gauges are really nice actually. Does have the key too. That's awesome. And then this one actually has a decompression mechanism on it as well. I think that's what that is right there. No dents in the tank actually. Huh, that's pretty good. Let's see if the throttle works. Yeah, not locked up. So this one's gonna be a really fun project today. It'll be interesting to see how much work it's gonna take to get running. But yeah, the goal for today is to get this thing running and driving by the end of the video. So let's get this thing off the truck, start digging into it, see what we find. Alright, a little walk around of the bike. Get a little close-up shot of everything. So there's the rust. It does kick over. Tank has some pitting and rusting. Who thinks the fender's gonna clean up? Tires do hold air. Original carb. There's the oil tank. The seat's in really good condition. Look at the bars though. All rust. So this one might need a complete restoration. But really a cool looking bike. Let's try kicking it over a couple times. I don't want to kick it over too much because the cylinder might be rusted up right now, but that feels like it's got a lot of compression. I bet you this bike kicks back hard. For $400, I'm not expecting much. It'll be a miracle if we can get this thing running today. All right, we got the bike in the garage. Let's start going through it. So I think the first thing we're gonna do is take a look inside the gas tank. See what that looks like. So from first glance, doesn't look too bad. Let's get a flashlight in there, take a look. See if we can see anything in there. It's actually not that bad. I was expecting far worse than that. Oh, it's a little rough on that side. A little rust down there. She's a little rusty. Not absolutely horrible, but I think we can work with that. Alright, let's see if this comes off. Oh yeah. Oh, there is a dipstick too. Well, that's pretty clear. So somebody put it away. fresh oil in it. Let's see if it's filled up all the way. Filled up exactly where it's supposed to be, so oil checks out. That actually looks really good. Should we see if the oil pump is still in here? So the oil pump on this bike is right underneath this cover. Yeah, the bolts are pretty rusted on. There we go. What do you guys think? Oh yeah, wow. It looks clean in there. I don't think any water got in there. Let's see, throttle. That's still working. Look at that. If we remove that, oil should come out. Let's see that, but let's just take a look. Look at that, oil's coming out. Wow. So the pump is bled, oil's getting to it. Okay. Let's get this cover back on. And we can check if this is working by the line right here. You can disconnect that when it's running. See, it goes right into the cylinder there. That should be pumping oil right to that cylinder. So if it's not, we know that the pump's not working. Let's take a peek underneath the seat. Alright, so this one has a battery actually. Seat all the way off there. You can see seat pan looks pretty good. That one looks like an old battery. Yeah, made in Japan. That might be the original battery for this thing. Wow. So this one must connect to here. I can see some foam. Must be from the seat. I don't know if a mouse got in there or what. These are disconnected. Not sure where these wires go to. This one looks like a ground going right to the frame. Here's positive going to this one. I don't see a fuse anywhere in here. We'll have to see, but here's the air box. What could be in the air box? Doesn't look that bad. Ooh, foam's a little rough. That's just disintegrating. Look at that. Oh. It's basically turning into a liquid. Holy cow. That's crazy. Look at that. Yeah, that is not good. Oh, it's just melting in my hand. Wow. Yeah, that's seen better days. Alright, we got the cage kind of cleaned off. So definitely needs a new air filter. Is this battery 6 volt? Let's check it out. So one to positive, one to negative. See if we get anything. Nothing at all. That is completely dead. And here is the 2-stroke oil tank. Is there anything in there? There's a little window on the side. Oh yeah, it looks full. Got the old green oil. That's awesome. So, bunch of 2-stroke oil in there. So we're good there too. So far the bike is not looking too bad. All right, so it's very rare to have the original toolkit with the bike. Let's see if it's in here. What do you guys think? Oh, shoot. It looks like there's one little tool back there. Let's see what that is. Here it would be in there. Little wrench. Shoot. Well, wishful thinking. But that's where it would be. So always check those little containers for the original toolkit if you guys have a bike like this. Kind of cool to find. Alright, let's see what comes out of the tank. The gas line here. We get, ooh, come out. Ooh, petcock's a little crunchy too. Yeah, nothing. Nothing at all. Oh, there's something coming out. Oh, that looks pretty bad. What's in there? Is that mixed or is that just the gas? Oh, is that dark? I guess that would make sense. It was sitting 25 plus years. Petcock's leaking pretty good too. I think that's off right now though. Maybe that's off. Check that out. So that's either really mixed or like a combination of rust and old gas in there. Not sure, but petcock does look like it's working a little bit. Just leaking a lot. It's not too bad. Not seeing any major pitting on the bottom here, but you can see it's leaking from the petcock there. And like I said, no dents in the gas tank at all. Alright, here's the original rubber that was holding the tank on. That's junk. You got your coil there. And that comes down to the boot here. There's actually two spark plugs in here, one here and one there. So if one spark plug falls out, you can actually take this boot off and move it over to the other spark plug. It's pretty nice. So it will fire on both of those plugs. And here's a decompression mechanism on this machine. You can see you control that from the handlebars. But what it does is you pull that in up here, push that in, and it triggers the wire to pull that little pin out. See that? Or in. And it releases compression. So right now I don't think that is working. Let's just take a look. Kinda. Can't tell if it's working or not. We'll have to get some penetrating oil on there. It's a little rusty. This rubber piece is supposed to be on there, prevent water from getting in there. But it looks pretty rusted out to me. I don't know if that little pin's moving or not. Probably not. Looks like the wire going to the boot is off. This plug, oh, it's loose on there. Let's take that out. Champion plug. It's wet. Doesn't look horrible. There's not a ton of carbon buildup on there. I'm hoping that the cylinder is fine and not scored up, and that the piston rings aren't stuck. I mean, it feels like we have compression kicking it over, but you never know. Right, let's just twist this in a little bit so we can get the boot off. I'm gonna strip that out. That boot is on there. There we go. Alright, boot's off of there. And we're gonna trim that wire back a little bit, you can see. There's fresh wire. We're going to inspect the boot, make sure that looks good. There's a little screw coming out of there so it can connect to that wire. I want to make sure that's not loose in there, because sometimes those can detach. Oh, that looks good. You can see it in there. And then sometimes that gets loose too in there. So we can actually twist this back on. It's going on a little easier now. Alright. Let's see, is this plug loose? Yep. That's a Champion plug as well. Ooh, that one's brand new. Look at that. Let's load this up with some penetrating oil. I like to put a little Marvel mystery oil in there too. Help free up these rings if they're stuck. So we can just... That works good. Over to the other side, same thing. Penetrating oil. A little Marvel mystery. And then we can come down to the decompression mechanism, do the same thing. Just coat that in penetrating oil. Try to get that to free up here. I think that little pin is stuck. It's rusted on. Coat that a little bit. Now I'm curious to see how it's going to kick over now with the plugs out of it. See if it's still hard. Feels pretty smooth. I feel compression already though. Yeah. I'm gonna let that penetrating oil sit for a little bit. Try to free up those rings, but it's kicking over really smooth. So hopefully there's nothing wrong with the crank, piston, or cylinder. We might get pretty lucky. Alright, we got the newer plug in there. Let's see if we get any spark. So key to on. We don't have a battery in there. I don't think this thing needs a battery to run. I think the battery is just for the lights. So let's kick it over. See what we get. Alright. Kick it over pretty good here. Nothing. Nothing at all. There's no spark in that plug. Let's try this one. Could just be a foul plug. See if we get anything. Nothing. Nothing at all. Oh, that's not good. So first thing we're gonna check This is the wire going to the coil. There's a single wire going right there. Okay, there's a black wire here. Let's unplug that. Looks pretty clean in there. I don't think it was that causing issues. But we'll check. Let's just see. Maybe it was making a bad connection here. Try this again. Doesn't take much to lose spark here. Let's see what we get. Key is on. Nothing. Is there a kill switch on here? I don't see a kill switch anywhere. Nothing. So no spark. Coming from the stator side. Got a black wire here for something. And up here you can see it goes into the harness here. So you've got yellow, green, green, red. Let's just see, those are all looking pretty good. Those don't look bad at all. There should be a black wire in here. There's white, that one's disconnected. Oh, here's the black one. I'll pull that apart. Looks clean in there. Huh. Well, if it's not the wires, we're gonna have to go down and check out the points down here. Ooh. Let's see what's underneath here. Ooh. Uh-oh. That's not good. That is not good at all. Bunch of oil behind there. Dripping out. That looks like the two-stroke oil though. Not good. Alright, so here's the flywheel. And underneath here are the points. Yeah, look at, there's water mixed in here. Look at that, gross. So those points have to be dirty. Let's get those checked out. This is a 19mm nut. Came right up. Use a little magnet and a pick. Get that to come off. Alright, so there's a nut in the washer. Now I have to find a puller that can pull that flywheel off. Alright, here we go. I've got one. It's reverse thread. Screw that all the way in. Don't want to strip out those threads here. Alright. That should crank right off. Let's see what happens. There we go. Yeah, those points look a little rough. Flywheel looks pretty good. Pretty clean. That is a beefy flywheel. Alright, let's take a closer look at this. So the points are right there. Just a little dirty, huh? Ooh. Those are gunked up. Well, no wonder we didn't have spark. That is absolutely horrible. It's pretty bad. Look at the gunk in there. We're gonna spray that with a little WD-40. And you can open this up, and then just kind of scrape away. Oh, it's got a lot of gunk on there. all around the points. That is caked full. Look at all that. Wow. Hopefully these points aren't too far gone. Right now we're just trying to clean off all that gunk on there, and then we can come back and use a file to get that surface cleaned up better. So here's our little file you can put in there. See what that's looking like. That looks pretty good. Kind of see the surface there. Alright, that's all cleaned up. Let's see if we get spark now. Just checking over the rest of the wires here. Those look good and attached down there. Coils look good. So I think the stator should be fine. Here's the condenser here. Sometimes those can go bad, but I think it was just the points in this case. But flywheel going back on, making sure that woodruff key is visible, not sheared off. And that looks really good. So we can put the flywheel back on. Lining up with the woodruff key. All right, make sure that's nice. Tuck it in there. Here we go, moment of truth. Key is, kick it over. Oh yeah, there we go. Look at that. Awesome. That is great spark. Turn the light off. Check that out. Oh yeah. Nice blue spark. So points were just dirty. Well, we now have good spark. Let's check compression. We have the other plug-in over here, so we can test it. Let's see what we get. Anything over 100 it'll run. We're hoping for like right around 120 or higher. So we're looking for right in this range, right in here, with the throttle open. Here we go. Oh boy. Already 70 pounds compression. This thing should run. I can barely kick it over. Already 100. Oh cow, this got a lot of compression. Might have to put a boot on here. Throttle open. We're over 150 now. Probably sit on the bike the correct way here. Man, it's got a ton of compression. 160, but I think it's got more. My boot is literally stopping halfway down the stroke. So we're probably like right in the 180 range. That's really good. So we have amazing spark and amazing compression. Oh, now I know why they had this decompression mechanism on there. You cannot kick this bike over. So we're gonna try to get this thing working. Because right now, you do the lever, and you can see it's not really pushing that pin in. It should be pushing that in a little bit. Tap on that real gently. I think that was moving. Oh, it's pulling back out. See that? It's starting to get springy in there. Oh yeah. It's starting to work here. It's still not springy enough though. Concentrating oil on there. And I just lightly tap this. See, that's getting easier to push in there. There we go. Now it's moving that pin. Alright, now watch that pin. I think we got her finally. See, it pushes that pin in, pulls that pin out. And it's just a little bit, but that's all you need. So as it pushes in, it releases that compression. You pull out, it blocks it off. So let's see if that works now. Let's kick it over. Yep. Easy. Now we're gonna put the decompression mechanism off. Yeah, you get stuck in the compression stroke. Now we're gonna turn it back on again. It should kick over really easy. Yeah, look at that. Back off. See, it gets stuck now. So, that is working great. All right, let's see what's going on with this carb next. Let's loosen up. Yeah, 13. There we go. Alright, there's a nut in the washer from that side. Be able to get that out. Hopefully. Oh man. And these hoses are so tight on there. Try to disconnect that one. There we go, yeah. Alright, did the trick. Still on that boot pretty good. Oh man, come on. What's holding us up now? Come on, there we go. Gear slide off. Alright, that was in the right way. Feels good. Now, this line this tube can come out of here. Oh, there's a bunch of old gas in there. I'm just gonna, oh, there we go. All right, that pulled out an old Mikuni carb. There's a bunch of old gas in there. Let's see if the choke is working. Yeah, choke is working. All right, let's take a peek on the inside. Ooh. Looks like the stuff that was in the tank, doesn't it? Not good. I was stuck on there pretty good. Oh. Why was that on there so tight? Old gas in there. Yeah, it's a little gunked up. Floats are working. Those don't look too bad. Nope, that's open too. Alright, so the bowl doesn't look horrible. Ha. Needle stuck open. It's not closing. There we go. We gotta force that down. O-ring just disintegrated. Look at that. Oh. Wow. That's pretty bad. Alright, main jet. Let's see what we're running here. Can't find a number. But that was clear. Punches through like that. There's a little rust down there. It's not horrible. There we go. See, we're running for a pilot. 45 for the pilot. That is completely plugged up. So there's no way this bike would run. 1, but 1.5 turns out on the air screw. So we'll set that back to 1.5 after we clean out this carb. There's the spring. Looks good. Right out. Oh yeah, look at that. Pin comes right out. That's a good sign. And this seat's gonna be a little dirty, I bet. So we'll get that out and clean that out. Piece comes off. Needle comes out. Take our needle nose to get the needle out. Doesn't look horrible, but the seat really gunked up in there. Whoa! Yeah, that seat is horrible. Can you guys see that in there? And then you've got your choke here. That's it. Not too crazy of a carb here. Let's see if that's free. Yep. Yep. Every passageway is free. So we are going to let this one sit in the ultrasonic cleaner along with all the jets. Come back and reassemble this thing. Like that. Carb going in. This water has been used a couple times already, so it's a little dirty. Alright, we let the carb sit for about 30 minutes. It stripped off pretty much all the paint on the carb. Looking pretty good. Nice and clean in there. You can see the needles now going up and down. We cleaned out the seat. That looks perfect. We're gonna get a new O-ring for right here. And then we can get this all back together. Alright, carb's back on, looking pretty good. Slide's working. Going all the way back down. Let's start working on the gas tank. So, let's get this petcock off first. See how much gunk is in there. Let's bowl off. Pretty sticky in there. Yeah, there's some gunk in there. Let that sit in the ultrasonic cleaner for a little bit here. Pretty clean. Doesn't look too terrible. Let's see. There's some rust buildup down here. So this was leaking from either here or up top here. I think it was from here. There's usually like a spring washer in here that gets really weak over time. Take a peek. Let's come off. Yeah, here's the spring washer. See how it's pretty flat? We're gonna blow that all out. Dunk that in the ultrasonic cleaner for a little bit. Alright. We put a little gasket maker on there. I don't really trust that gasket and I don't have another one to use, so we'll see if that holds. I'm thinking it probably will. So. Alright, we're gonna try to get a filter on here. Let's cut it right here. See if that'll work. Alright. I have to make a pretty sharp bend here. Let's see if I can get that to go on. Looks pretty good. Alright, so if you run this thing without a battery, most of the time the lights will burn out because there's so much voltage going to it. Because what happens is it's trying to charge up the battery and there's nowhere for it to go, so it just bursts the bulbs. So we're gonna put this little battery in here, hook up to here. That's positive. And then this one's gonna hook up to here, which is negative. Let's see if anything turns on. No, nothing at all. Let's check the voltage. Yeah, 6.5. Maybe we're not getting a ground. Yeah, she's a little rusty. see what happens here. Huh, still nothing. Oh, horn's trying to go. Lights must be burnt out. We'll see if the headlight works when we start it up. All right, we mixed up some 40-to-1. We don't know if that pump is working yet. So in order to lube up the cylinder and the piston with oil, we need to mix the gas. We're gonna attempt to fire this thing up. We've got the spark plug boot on the other side over there on that plug. Plugs are in tight. We have good compression, like crazy good compression. We have spark, and now we're getting fuel to the carb. Carb is all cleaned out, good to go. So there's no reason this thing shouldn't fire up. Let's give it a couple kicks, see what happens. This might be the first start in over 25 years. Pretty good. Ouch. Ow. She wants to go. Baby. Jeez. Wow. Ouch. Jeez. This is gonna break my leg. We might have to bump start this thing. Holy man, is that hard to kick over. Even with the decompression mechanism, why don't you just buck your foot right off the lever. Ouch, does that hurt. Oh, I don't like that. All right, let's keep trying. And we'll try bump starting it. I don't know if the clutch works though. All right, we're gonna look up how to start one of these. My foot is killing. All right, I don't think it should be kicking back like that so badly. I don't know what's going on with it. The ankle's not liking that. Oof. Well, it's kicking back because that decompression wire broke. So the decompression mechanism wasn't even working. So the cable must have been so frayed that it finally broke off. All right, I've got vice grips holding that mechanism open. Let's see if it works now. Yow, that is not good. Yeah, I think we're gonna try bump starting it. Oh, my ankle. There goes nothing. All right, we tried bump starting this so many times. I had to push up the driveway every time. Was not going. The plugs were wet when I took them out. We still have spark, so I think this thing's not sparking at the right time. All right, so what we did was retard the timing. So what happens is it's now sparking a little bit later, and it's closer to when the piston is at top dead center. Before it was opening really early for some reason. So we'll see if that fixes the problem. I stuck a screwdriver down the cylinder, found top dead center, and then I could kind of twist the flywheel and see when those points were opening. And they're opening now, like right before the piston gets to the top of the cylinder. So let's see what happens. See if I can break my ankle here. Not backfiring. It's close. It's really close now. Wants to go. Don't choke it. Wants to go. Come on, baby. She wants to go. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. She's real close. Look at all this oil that came out. Holy. Crank seals are done. Look at all that oil coming out. So crank seals are leaking like crazy. But we fixed it with the spark. That was definitely the fix. Holy cow. So retarding the timing actually worked. It wasn't kicking back at all. So that fixed that problem. And she actually fired up for a little bit. But yeah, it's just pumping out oil like crazy. So what we might do is take apart this clutch side and just see if the crank seal is gone. I'm thinking it might be. It's almost gotta be. Look at, just dripping oil from there. Jeez. Holy cow, she was smoky. But she fired up. I cannot believe it. So that's probably why I had so much compression too. Oil was seeping into the cylinder, causing compression to go way up. I'm just surprised she started. But yeah, let's get this cleaned up. This is looking bad. Look at all this oil on here. Open. This would be all over my driveway. What a mess. Well, got this all cleaned up. That door was open when I was starting this thing, so all the smoke was going out that way. This door was closed. Probably should have opened it, but oil would have been spraying all over the driveway. And I've had this happen in the past where oil sprays out of the exhaust and gets everywhere. It takes me like 3 days to clean it up off the concrete, so that's why I didn't have that door open. That was an insane amount of oil that came out of that pipe. That was almost all the engine oil, I bet, in the engine that just came out and sprayed the whole garage, the whole floor, everything. So that crank seal on this side must just be completely gone at this point. Because, I mean, that was just an excessive amount of oil. But we are gonna tear it down and take a look. I don't know if you can replace it without splitting the case, but we will see. All right, got that other one off. Get this cable off. See. Oh, that came right off. Perfect. I even think you need to take the brake off. Ooh, something fell. Gasket. Let's see. Crank seal's still in place, it looks like. Oh, what the heck? Trying to see if that's pushed in or not. We can actually get this gear off without taking the clutch off. Let's try doing that. That was the lowest setting on the impact. Crazy that I can rip that right off like that. Alright, get a magnet. Not seeing too much damage. I think we do have to take the clutch off. Can this whole thing pull off? Yep. Looks like a new clutch. It's pretty nice. Alright, now focus back on this one. I can take this off of here. Huh. Is that not? Doesn't look that bad. Is it cracking? But I see oil behind it. So it must be hardened up or brittle. Alright, looking at the crank seal here. I'm not seeing any breaks or cracks or anything in there. I mean, it is pretty hardened up. But it's not that bad. It's really not that bad. Let's put this back in. You can see this isn't bad either. Not all scored up. Yeah, it must be seeping through there though. It's gotta be. I mean, that seal's been like that for 25 years, so. The only other possibility is that it's sucking in oil from the transmission. Like there's a crack in the case somewhere. It's sucking in. I don't know. That's really, really odd. I should have done a leak down test, but I thought for sure it was the seal. Well, we can get that seal out and just take a look at it. Alright, we've got the slide hammer here. I'm going to put this little piece there. Should screw right in. Alright, and the slide hammer goes on. Look at all the oil behind here. Yeah. Lots of oil. Crank seal here. Doesn't look too bad. Let's see how it fits in here. I mean, it's not super tight. I think it should grab a little bit more than that. Yeah. So we are going to order up both crank seals for the left and right hand side. Replace those and try again. That should not be that easy to push in. I mean, yeah, I think it's just brittle. from sitting so long. So I'm like 99% sure that it was the crank seal causing issues, because it was definitely transmission oil that we saw coming out of the pipe. And this thing was smoking a ton. And really boggy. And really hard to start. So all those symptoms would be right side crank seal. But we will order one up for this side and the other side. We saw some oil leaking out the other side as well. But that was green oil. I don't know where that would be coming from. But yeah, everything else looks perfect in here. All the gears look good. I don't see any cracks in the engine case or anything. That all looks perfect. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video on the 1972 Yamaha DT360. We have to get a crank seal for it, a decompression mechanism cable, and we should be good to go. We're going to replace all the parts next video, and hopefully this thing will fire up and we can take it for the first ride, because it deserves to be ridden. It hasn't been ridden in over 25 years. So hopefully next video we can take it for the first ride. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for subscribing. Stay tuned for next video, and until next time, we are out.